Time now for First Alert Weather with meteorologist Rob Nucatola.
All right, good morning and Happy New Year, everybody. We're getting started off a little bit more back to where you'd expect temperatures to be in January, even maybe a little on the cooler side of normal for us. We would typically start right around 40 or in the low 40s. Instead, we're starting in many spots in the mid 30s, and I think we're going to have mornings like this for several days. Maybe even a little cooler coming at times over the next week or so. I do think we can get to 60 this afternoon. I hope we get to 60. Some spots may not. And over the next couple of days, we're going to be talking about a couple of different pushes of cool air to keep knocking those temperatures down, even in the afternoons with decent amounts of sunshine. Now, the skies are pretty clear. I don't see a lot going on satellite radar composite style. I don't expect we're going to find very much. So we start at 34 in Tallahassee and in Thomasville. We're at 36 in Valdosta. If there's a little bit of a breeze, it's going to be from the north. The air is real dry. I think we're going to keep the skies pretty clear throughout the day today. We may notice a couple of high, thin clouds, but that's about all. Blakely checking in is our coolest spot at even freezing 32. Quincy, Thomasville, Tallahassee, Homerville, Live Oak, Cross City at 34. Flip those numbers around. It's 43 at Apalachicola. Moultrie's hanging on at 40. We're at 35 in Perry. We're at 39 in Bainbridge this morning. Now, I don't expect it to be windy. It was a little breezy at times yesterday. It won't be as much today. Higher pressure is going to be our big weather player. That usually keeps the winds pretty calm. And I think as higher pressure gets a little bit closer and the skies stay clear tonight, we can have an even colder morning tomorrow than we have this morning. I'm not expecting fog to be an issue like it was back on Monday or even Tuesday. So we've got some little changes coming with this forecast. Most of it has to do with the cool and the dry and these pushes, I'm going to call them, of cooler air that'll be moving our way at times for a couple of days, and then things warm back up, and we'll talk about maybe a few rain chances in the mix next week. But I think for now, throughout the upcoming weekend, the air is going to be too dry to talk about anything other than just some of these cooler temperatures. Higher pressure to our north scoots away. Here comes that next boundary. It's got no moisture to work with, so it doesn't do much for us except reinforce that cooler air for the weekend. Maybe even chillier Saturday afternoon than yesterday or today will be. So something to keep in mind. It's going to look nice outside. It's going to be bright and sunny most of the time, but it's going to feel very much like the middle of winter around here. Notice on Futurecast, we keep those breezes coming in from the north. Even when we get to over the weekend, maybe they turn a little bit more towards the north and east, but any kind of moisture gets kept way down to our south and west, out of the area, which means there's nothing but cold to talk about in this forecast, probably until the early part of next week when we do get that next surge of warmer air, temporary one, that brings with it some of that moisture and our chance for some rain early next week before more cool air comes in behind it. So I think this is going to be the pattern that we have probably well into next week. Lots of cold with little warm-ups, and when those come, that's when we'll see if we have enough moisture to get some rain chances. On the Gulf today, northeast and north winds 8 to 18, seas 2 to 4 feet. We'll put a light to moderate chop in the protected waters. It's maybe a little breezy for the boaters. Those breezes should calm down a little bit more later and tomorrow. It's 30s and 40s. We'll call it clear and chilly. Sun comes up at 7:35. We're going to keep the skies pretty clear all day, but even with that sunshine, maybe we get to 62 or 63, maybe, which is just a little bit cooler than normal for this time of the year. I think tonight we'll see a lot of temperatures back in the low 30s, so clear and cold again. A lot of frozen starts in places this week. As a matter of fact, I think maybe Saturday morning, another push of cooler air. Notice how things warm up a little bit before we get any rain chances by Monday. So remember, we are only going to be talking about rain chances here. And then as we get to the middle of next week, here comes that next push of cooler air to knock those temperatures down again, and we may have a tough time getting to the mid-50s the middle of next week. So there are some significant pushes of cold air with this next little batch, and I think this next little batch is probably going to last at least a week or more.